Hi everybody, we're getting started soon. I'm just kind of moving my webcam around here. There, I think I got everything. I was just organizing my office finally, so then I thought, oh, it's 3:57. I should probably get on the webinar so that people can see me, because I'm sure you're all excited to talk about some local anesthetic. Now, I didn't know what topic I would be doing necessarily, but pretty much every single student has said that they want more mock exam questions. Actually, guys, sorry, did I click record? Yes, I did. So pretty much every single student says that they want more mock exam questions. So what I thought and what I would like to do, since now that I tutor full time now, because I love it, is I want to do this once a week. Now, I would like to say once a week. So let's say every, what's the day today? Wednesday at 4. But I would like to get everybody's opinion if you would prefer I do it later on in the evening, because I realize that some of you may still be in school, some of you may have to work, some of you may be doing this, some of you may be doing that, but that's also why I'm recording this, so then that way I can put it on YouTube afterwards. So that's the plan also. But let me know if you feel that there's another time that works better for you. I would like to do it on the weekends, but I can't, because I'm already tutoring, teaching a dental assistant class and a dental hygiene class also. So it does have to be sometime during the week, and I thought at 4 would be a good time to start, so it's not too early in the morning, obviously, and it's not too late. But let me know, because I do want to start doing this every single week, because now that I'm home, I have the time, right? And I love it. And since all of you want to know as much as possible, it just makes sense. So I'm actually just checking Facebook to make sure that anybody who wanted to come in was able to, and that they were able to click the links okay, and that I made sure to post the links where I said I would. So that's perfect, because I literally just thought about doing this a couple hours ago. So I realize that a lot of you may not see this until afterwards, but that's why I made sure to click record, so everybody will be able to watch it later on. Oh, and it's 4 o'clock now, perfect. So I quickly checked Facebook. Let me just quickly check my email, because sometimes students email me saying that they couldn't log in or something happened. So let me just double check, and then we can get started. Let's see. Okay, good, perfect. So there's no email, so hopefully everybody who wanted to be here can, okay? So let me pull up my screen. So I'm going to actually share my screen here, where I have the mock exam package that I want to be talking to you guys about. Actually, let me put it up on a different screen, so hopefully it's a little bit larger. So, sorry ladies, one moment. Okay, I got that. Now, can everybody see me okay? I should have asked first. If you can't, please just let me know, and you should be able to hear me as well. Okay. Okay, so I'm sharing my screen. Can everybody see my screen okay? It should say local anesthetic and pain control, because this is the mock exam that I will be going through with everybody. Now, there's a lot of questions, so I will not be going through all of them, because that would probably take at least a couple hours, and I don't want to waste too much of your time either. So I'm thinking this will take about a half an hour. I'll just sort of go through as many mock exam questions as I can in that time, and explain things as much as possible. So if you have questions though, now is your time to ask questions. So stop me anytime. The chat window should be open here. Can everybody see the chat window? I can't. I could see it, but I couldn't. Okay, now I see it. So I'm just gonna type welcome, so that way that should pop up for everybody. And then if you have questions, just let me know. Okay, so let me go through just pretty much the first question, okay? So don't pay attention to the other ones yet. I will only be talking about like each question at a time, okay? So number 1, so can everybody see that okay? What is not a characteristic, which I'm sorry, I spelled that wrong, of local anesthesia? So what is not a characteristic? A, it's completely reversible, B, slow onset, C, non-irritating to the tissues, and D, profound anesthesia capable. So even if you don't know the answer, okay, look at every single answer and say, okay, could A be the answer? Why or why not? Could B be the answer? Why or why not? And then, you know, so on and that way. So what is not? So this question is kind of tricky because it's a negative question saying what is not. So you do have to think about that. So don't think what is a characteristic, think what is not. So you could do it backwards and say, well, which one of these are characteristics of local anesthesia, and then go through it that way. And then the one that doesn't fit, you know that's the answer. And this is a very simple question. So if you're having trouble with this question, then it means that you have to go back to your local anesthetic chapters and look through all of that, because this is a very basic question. And this I took from the local anesthetic mock exam package. And the nice thing about the mock exam packages is there's a full PowerPoint lesson in there also. So if you are having trouble with the mock exam package, you can say, well, I'll just read the PowerPoint then first, because clearly I'm having trouble, because the PowerPoint helps you answer the mock exam questions. So it's nice. So does anybody have any thoughts on what this answer is? Again, it's an easy question. So how I will explain it is, you might be thinking, okay, so what do you want from a local anesthetic? Do you want it to be A, completely reversible? Yes, because you don't want that local anesthetic to last forever. So you know that A is not the right answer because you want it to be completely reversible. Do you want it to have a slow onset? Meaning, do you want it to take time to work? No, you want it to be quick, because if your a patient is sitting in the dental chair and you say to them, okay, so we are doing the filling on the first molar on the upper right hand side, but we have to put in the local anesthetic. It's going to take about a half an hour to work though, so I'll put that in now. You just have a seat for half an hour and then we'll get started. That's not ideal, right? So B, you already know is the right answer because you want it to have a quick onset. So does that make sense? So I'll quickly talk about the other ones too. So C is not the answer because it says non-irritating to the tissues. So you want it to be non-irritating to the tissues, because if it's irritating to the tissues, people don't like it, people won't be happy, and that's just not a good quality to have. And the last one, profound anesthesia capable. So that just means that, how can I explain this? The anesthetic is working as it should, and you know how it's going to work. So the best answer for number one is slow onset, because you want it to have a quick onset. Because in the question it says, what is not a characteristic of a local anesthesia? Any questions so far? Sorry, my chat box disappeared. Let me see what's up with that. Is everybody okay so far? And can everybody see my screen? Okay, good, perfect. So let's talk about the next one then. So you have already given the PSA. Does anybody not know what that is? Let me know. Injection on the maxillary. What other injection will you need to numb the lingual? So actually, I am going to stop sharing my screen for 1 second, and I should have done this first, but I want to pull up exactly what that looks like. Because you may be saying, oh, Andrea, I know what that is, but you actually don't. So I want to make sure everybody knows what the PSA injection site is, okay? So, okay, I just have a couple things, but I want to pull up something that makes the most sense. Okay, so I'm going to show, let's see here. So it might not let me show that screen. So I'm going to put it up in a PowerPoint here just so I can show you where that site is. And if you need help with the actual sites, let me know, because you have to know what they are. For pretty much every exam you take, if it's in Canada, if it's in the US, you have to know what the sites are. So sorry guys, I'm just quickly putting that up for you in a PowerPoint. So that way I can show you and make the image larger and all that fun stuff. Okay, so this is why mock exam packages are so helpful, because you might think you know the answer, but then as soon as you go to do a question, it just might not make a lot of sense, right? So I am going to share my screen. Sorry guys, I have a couple things open right now. Let me share my screen again. Why are you not letting me share my screen? Sorry, everybody, it's being silly. Okay, here we go. So I want to pull up the PSA site. So can everybody see that? So this is where the site is, okay? So in the question, which I will show you that afterwards, but in the question it says, you have already given the PSA injection on the maxillary. What other injection will you need to numb the lingual? So you have to know what and where the PSA is. And this is a perfect example right here. So the PSA will freeze your wisdom tooth, the second molar, and most of the first molar. Not all of it, but most. But it will not freeze the lingual. So if you had to freeze the lingual portion, say you were doing the first molar directly on the lingual, it's a large one, you would have to give another injection, but you would have to know what that is. So as you can obviously see, this one here will not freeze the lingual, it will only freeze the buccal. So let me share my screen again to show you guys the questions. Let's see here. I don't want to show you guys the answers, so I'm just making sure that I'm not pulling that up, because that would not be fun. Okay, let me just stop sharing my screen. I have a couple things open. Okay, there we go. Okay, so sharing my screen again. So for number 2, what do you think the answer is? So you obviously have to know what all of these things are. And if you're studying for the board exam, local anesthetics will be on the board exam. Even if you are studying, for those who have decided not to do their dental portfolio, and you have decided to take the exam, you need to know local anesthetic. So this is something you have to know. Even in Canada, we're not allowed to give local anesthetics, but you have to know them. So number 2, any ideas what the answer is? So think about it for a second. So you would have to give another injection to numb the lingual. In fact, I'm going to do it again. I'm going to stop sharing my screen while you're all thinking about that, and I'm going to pull up the answer and show you where that injection site is. So you guys think about that for a second while I pull this up, because I want to show you guys, because I find for local anesthesia, it's just better to show you guys pictures. I could be wrong, but if I was a student, that's how I would learn properly. So, okay, so what I'm going to do again is put it in a PowerPoint so everybody can see. Okay, here we go. So now I have it in a PowerPoint, but I have to find my camera again to share my screen. Okay, here we go. So can everybody see my screen? Okay, so the answer is, to be able to freeze the lingual, you need the greater palatine nerve block because that freezes the lingual. So that's the answer to the question. And this is a perfect image showing that it freezes the lingual because the PSA freezes, as you can see, the buccal and the occlusal surfaces, where you would need something different to freeze the lingual. So does that make sense so far? So you see how you do have to know a little bit about everything, right? It's not easy stuff, but it is easy the more you start to study for it. So, okay, sharing my screen again to show you guys the questions. So for number 2, the answer is A, because you need that one to freeze the lingual. Does that make sense so far? If there's any questions, please let me know, because I do see that some new people have logged on. So if you did not hear me earlier, if you have any questions at any time, you just let me know. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. Now, number 3 is also an easy question. So this is why, again, I like the mock exam packages, because if you are doing the mock exam package and then you say to yourself, okay, I didn't know any of that, then that means that you have to go back to that topic to study. But on the opposite side of things, if you are doing the mock exam package and you say to yourself, well, that was easy. Okay, well, number 2 was easy too. And then number 3 was easy too. And if you get most of the answers right, then you know you can move on to another topic. So number 3, what does everybody think? So what do vasoconstrictors do in local anesthetic? A, do they decrease the blood pressure? B, more bleeding at the site? C, less of a duration of the anesthetic? Or D, a longer duration of the anesthetic? What do you guys think? Let me know, because I'm curious. So far, so good. You guys are like awesome. And this was or is an easy question, I do have to admit for sure. So I am happy to hear that so far the people who have answered are getting it right. So that's awesome. So yes, the answer is 3D, so longer. So the point of a vasoconstrictor is to make the anesthetic last, okay? Because you don't want to be having the dentist work on a filling and then 10 minutes later, oh, I have to give you more anesthetic because the freezing's starting to wear off, but I'm in the middle of the tooth now. There's a huge hole in there. I hope you're okay, but I have to give you more freezing. You know, that's not the point. You want it to last, okay? But if your patient has a heart condition, an allergy, you have to be careful with how much of this vasoconstrictor you use, because if it's too much, then it can speed up the heart rate, and you don't want that. So many things to consider. Okay, so let's talk about number 4 then. So a central incisor has a periodontal defect on the lingual root surface. So it's an incisor, a central incisor. What injection would you use? So you have to know, again, the different types. Even if you have no idea what the answer is, look at the answers that are there and then, you know, think, say, well, a greater palatine, well, maybe that's it, because if you were doing the lingual of a central, that's on the palate, so yeah, that could be it. Is it the nasopalatine? Because that sounds like it's on the palate too. Could it be a block? Well, no, because a block is used for the bottom, and we are talking about a central incisor. Now, technically, a central incisor could be on the bottom, so that's not entirely the proper way of thinking, but so you know what, C could be the answer. But for those of you who don't know, if you're doing a filling at the front, you would likely not need, you know, all of it on the side. So putting in anesthetic There's other types of injection sites you would be doing for a central and lateral anyway, but that's something you may or may not know. Or D, a palatal. So all of these kind of sound right, so you have to know exactly where the A, B, C, and D sites are, okay? Now, the only answer and the best answer is, let's see if anybody got that right. Not yet, okay? So nobody has the right answer yet. Oh, and excellent question. Someone is asking about, so the question is, a central incisor has a periodontal defect. Who cares, right? It doesn't matter. I just sort of added that in because on the board exam, they will add things in that make no sense and things you don't have to know. So the main part of this question is a central incisor on the lingual root surface. That's all you have to know. Yes, I mentioned a defect, but is that necessary? No. It's just something that I added in there to train you slowly but surely that they will add all kinds of things in there, but some things make sense and some things don't. Okay, so the best answer is nasopalatine because that's where the injection site is. And I'm going to do it again. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so I can show you guys what that looks like because nobody actually got that right. So see, I'm happy we're talking about it because if we weren't talking about it, nobody would know. So for those of you who are in with us now, I did mention earlier that I would like to be doing like this mock exam like question thing every single week because now I have the time because I'm tutoring full time, which is amazing. I'm selling lip sense, which is also awesome, but I have more time to work from home, which is amazing. So I would like to do this every single week if I can, and if people are actually watching. So I was thinking about doing it every Wednesday at 4, but let me know though, if you're thinking, well, you prefer it to be later or, you know, earlier, just let me know because this is a new thing for me, you know, something I'm just seeing if it is going to work. But okay, let me share my screen again. So this is your nasopalatine injection site. So remember how the question said your lingual of the central incisors. There you go. The other answer was the greater palatine, I believe, but that one's over here. Yes, it's on the lingual, but it's over here towards your first, second, and third molar. So that would not be the right answer because the nasopalatine is the best answer because it's behind the centrals, the laterals, and the canines. So does that make sense? Hope so. Okay, let me pull up all of my screens again. There we go. And we'll go through the next question and see how you guys do. So I did say that I would not spend too much of your time. So I will be stopping at 4:30. So we have about 10 more minutes. So let's do the next one. Now, I don't really like the next question. Oh, sorry, I have to share my screen again here. So number 5, I don't love this question because I can't explain it to you in any other way because I'm not a scientist and I'm not math. No. I'm a dental hygiene and dental assisting tutor, but I don't do math. Now, I put this question in here for those of you who are taking the American board exam. So you don't have to know number 5 if you're taking the Canadian exam, but this is for the Americans, okay? So I will actually be skipping this question because I don't have sort of a way to help explain it better. I can, it's just some of you may be thinking, okay, what the heck? Actually, you know what? I will talk about it in case some of you are thinking that you would like help. So you know what? So let's do number 5. Does anybody know the answer though? So if a patient receives 3 1.7 milliliter cartridges of 3% pivocaine, if I'm saying that right, how much drug did she receive? So you have to do the math here. So the key things to look at are the 3%, okay? And then you have to look at the 1.7 milliliters. And you have to think, well, what does 3% equal? You know, if that makes sense. So how you figure this out, does anybody have the answer, or are you just not sure? So again, you do not need to know this if you're in Canada, but if you're in the US, yes, you have to know it. If you need help, let me know and I will explain this further, but I will show you how to kind of work this out. Let's see here. I'm just seeing if anybody knew the answer. Yeah, it's complicated and it's boring, but this is how it works. So first you have to look at how many cartridges are there. So there's 3, and then you have to look at the 3%, okay? So what you have to do is add a 0 onto the 3 up here. So how to do the math is 1.7 times 30, because you did add the 0 onto the 3. So 1.7 times 30. And then that number times 3 for 3%, okay? I know, it's hard. And then take that number times 3 again. So the answer is 153. I can't explain it any other way because I'm not a scientist and I'm not pretending to be a scientist. I'm a dental hygiene and dental assisting tutor, but this is in your textbook for the local anesthetic chapter. If this is something you have to know, and if it's something that you need help with, let me know. But I'm not going to spend too much time on it because a lot of you who are in the chat today probably don't need to know it. Like, this is something that I have to constantly look at because I don't use it every single day. So I have to reteach myself how to do this math when I'm teaching it, because it's not something that I have to do, right? So don't even worry about it. But let's do one more. I want to do something. Okay, this is a good one because this was on the last exam for Canadians. Number 10. Okay, so number 10. How should cartridges be stored? How should cartridges be stored? So I'm talking about anesthetic cartridges. A, in the fridge, B, in the freezer, C, in the sun, or D, at room temperature?
At room temperature.
I think I just heard myself echo. Sorry, guys. So what do you guys think? And I kind of hope that everybody will have this right, because this is kind of an easy one. I gotta be honest, it's an easy one. So far, so good. I would like to wait on a few more people just to make sure. And this question has been on the board exam. And sorry if you guys hear my dogs, they're barking. I can't control them, they're crazy. So what do you guys think? Okay, yeah, so perfect. So at room temperature. So that was kind of an easy one, yes. Okay, so let's do one more. This one I like too. So let's do number 12. What function does sodium chloride provide in LA solutions? This has been on the board exam. So local anesthetics solutions. Does it A, make the solution thicker, make it thinner, make it non-toxic, or make it isotonic? I know, weird questions, but they are on the board exam. And yeah, I don't hear anybody now. I thought I heard myself echo, but that could have been somebody else, but I don't hear anybody now, so that's okay. That's okay. So what do you guys think? So number 12, A, B, C, or D. And so far, everybody has it right, so that's awesome. I just would like to make sure. Okay, perfect. So yes, it makes the solution isotonic. That's it. And not a lot of people think to study that, because who would think that, right? But it is on the board exam. And likely if you're still in school and you do have a test on this, that will be a question. So I'm just going to stop sharing my screens here. There, so can everybody still see me okay, I hope? There we go. But does anybody have any questions, though, about local anesthetic? So what I'd like to do is I would like to do this sort of mock exam question answer thing every week. I'm thinking at 4 o'clock, the same time, but let me know if you feel we should be doing it a little bit later, because I realize that some people may still be in school, or some people may just not be able to come on until later. So let me know. But I did click record. Yes, I did. So I will post this on YouTube anyway, because I have tons of stuff on YouTube. But I suppose I should say too, if you're watching this on YouTube and you want to be a part of these things live, then make sure to be a part of the group. I'll put the group link on the bottom, but everybody who's here now is a part of it. But I'll put that in here now. Facebook.com/Dentalelle Tutoring. No spaces, and that's it. So make sure to be a part of that, because I will post the link for these live questions and answers, because I would like to do it every week. But does anybody have any questions about local anesthetic, or is everybody good so far? So I do hope that that helped. But like I said, I am more than happy to answer any questions if you have questions. Or if there's a topic you would like me to talk about next week, let me know. Because now I do this full time, which is so much fun. I finally have time to help more and more people, which is awesome. Okay, perfect. So I don't see any questions. Everybody is good so far. That is amazing. I'm so happy. If you guys think of anything, please let me know. And thank you for watching. I do hope that this helped a lot. And I will see you guys hopefully all next week in the next video. Thank you guys. Bye.